This year is kind of slow, and at the same time flying by. I guess it's not just this year. When January came to an end, I felt like I had done little to no work at the end of it, so naturally I was excited to turn that around in February. A whole new month to get it right. Instead, I discovered that my wallet was missing. That caused a whole lot of hassle and worries, and in the end, I'll probably never know what exactly happened. Sometimes, I guess, you just need to pay your dues to the void. The main thing I wanted to achieve in February was creating some new products and restocking my Etsy store. It feels very empty right now, and I have tons of ideas, and designing and illustrating is so much fun, so this should be easy. Well, turns out, not necessarily. Creating new things can sometimes be quite slow and tedious. Ideas always seem great and exciting, but often lose their charm once you actually start working on them. It gets frustrating. You work and rework, and it's still not right. And that's why it often happens that we are walking around full of plans, too scared to actually bring them to life. Once you gather the courage to go ahead though, you always learn something. So that should be the most important, right? But learning doesn't often feel productive. It often feels like a waste of time, to me at least. Maybe because you don't realize until much later that you actually did learn something. I didn't manage to create quite what I had in mind for my lino cut printing this time around, but I got quite a bit of practice, and I'm going to come back to it as soon as I can. I realized I wasn't ready to release my printed creations just yet, so instead I decided to divert my attention to projects I'm more experienced with, because I needed some results soon. And so I went back to designing postcards to add to my current collection of Copenhagen-themed cards. I'm not sure whether I decided to chase way too many ideas, or whether my workflow is just too slow, or maybe I just overanalyze my work too much and keep reworking endlessly, but it's been incredibly slow. I am making progress, and I'm happy about the products that are slowly taking shape, but it just takes so long to get there. Do you ever feel this? When I was working mostly with clients, I felt like it's the back and forth communication that was holding the production process back, but maybe I need to just accept that things take the time they take, and that's that. I also know that I'm way too optimistic when it comes to time, and always believe that things will be completed way sooner than they actually are. It's a lesson I seem to refuse to learn. But hey, one thing I managed to get done are these sweet new hound stickers. Check it out. Now available in my shop. Link in the description. When you love what you do, it can be easy to get lost in it and ignore everything else. I can stay home drawing and making for days, not even getting out for groceries, and that's obviously a really bad idea, but I tend to do it a lot. Like right now, while editing this video. I'm trying to teach myself to take time off, go for coffee, explore the city, get my mind off work. One of those days, a friend took me to a nice bike-themed cafe. I never thought that a bike workshop would make for a cozy cafe, but it turns out it totally does. I like bikes and I like coffee, so why wouldn't it make for a great combination? On another day, we went exploring Copenhagen. It's one of those things that excite me about living in Denmark. It's a waste disposal plant, but the roof functions as a ski slope. It feels like being in the future. Denmark doesn't have any mountains. The highest point is a hill about 170 meters high. But I guess if you don't have mountains but still want to ski, you can build your own mountains. Aside from that, the building you're skiing on top of is burning waste to create energy and heating for Copenhagen. And that really excites me. I love living in one of the most sustainable cities in the world. You can also hike to the top for a wonderful view. I expected more from the park around the ski slope, but the building has just been finished, so I'm sure it's going to get more green over time. There are also ways to combine work and social time. We call them business meetings, and they're great. Every now and then, some friends who also are running their own small businesses and I meet and talk about our challenges, goals, and ideas and help each other with advice and support. This time we met at Tivoli, which is Denmark's probably most famous theme park, right in the center of Copenhagen, and it's always a beautiful place to hang out, if you ignore the screams in the background. We sat at the coziest springhouse-like cafe, which is my personal ideal for a cafe. The best thing about February coming to an end is, however, the slow but steady approach of spring. The days have grown quite a lot and the sun shows up a lot more often. You can see spring flowers in the shops, even though nature is still fast asleep and will take it another 2 months to really flourish. But it's so comforting to know that winter is almost over. I can't handle the cold, I need sun and heat to feel at my best, and the wait is almost done. Hopefully, with the weather warming up, I'd be able to convince myself a lot more often to get out and smell the flowers. I didn't manage to get all my cards finished and printed this month, and I ended up adding a lot more to my to-do list than I crossed off, but hopefully the new spring energy is going to help with that. And that was it for February. Now what's next?